Okay, so next we need to fit a couple of servos. I've just got some standard 9g servos. You can use Metal Gear ones if you want. I've just gone for cheap and cheerful. And to make Wingerons, obviously we need to fit them where the wing is. Now I've got a pen here that doesn't work, it's run out of ink. And all I need to do is line it up to the front, not quite to the front because we've got this curve. Front, so it's level with the top there. And I'm going to use my pen to make an indent in the foam around where the 9g servo will be fitted. There you go. You probably can't see that on the camera, but there is a mark there, so I can see that. You can use felt tip pen if you want, but it may just leave a mark. I'm going to use a knife now to simply cut that out. Work out how deep I need to go. Well, on mine there's a ridge on the inside that seats it, and that's how it goes. So I'm going to start cutting that there. So try and keep your cut at 90 degrees and follow the line you've made on the front. Same again there. When you cut, try and make sure it's level with that line you've got there. And now do the outline. And again there. Right, now several cuts to intersect that line. Okay, so I've just cut out one slot here for the servo, and I've done it so that the lugs of the servo sit flush with the sides of the fuselage, and that'll give them a maximum surface area to glue to. And you want the spindle of the servo, this bit here, at the back. Okay, that way around, that's the way you need it. Okay, so I'll have plenty of gluing area. You can, if you want, cut it deep and have that deeper, but there's no point really, and that should sit like that. So I'm just going to do the other side now. Okay, so I've now cut the slot out for these servos. Once you've checked that it is actually deep enough and your servo fits nice and flush with the wing seat on both sides, you need to get that servo wire to the front. Okay, make sure you've got enough room to slide the wire at the back on both sides. Now, to make the hole through there, I've used a bit of brass tube. Okay, this brass tube is 8.5mm, okay, in diameter. Well, it's also just big enough to fit the plug in nice and tight. And the reason for that is once I've made the hole, I want to pull it out. Okay, now the end of this tube needs to be sharp. You're not sharpening the outside, you're sharpening the inside edge. And the way to do that is to get a file and file it. Just go around the inside and sharpen it. Get some old foam and just check it's nice and sharp, and it should. And you rocket turn it like that. Just cut in, and can you see there, this is really delicate soft foam, and if it can cut through that, it'll cut through that. Okay, and to get that out of there, obviously you're going to need a rod to push that through. Clear it out, so another bit of wire. Pop. There's your foam. Okay, so that's your cutting tool, and we're going to cut a hole through there. I'm going to try and go from here and intersect with there. Now I want it about there. So here we go. Okay, so I've now got my holes cut through that intersect with there. I need to show you just how you get your servo wire through dead easy. You can try and fiddle it and push your way through, but the easiest way I found is just put your tube back in again, into there and put your servo plug in the hole. And the easiest way to do that, get a pair of pliers, hold your servo plug, push it to the end of the tube, you obviously can't see that because the camera's in the wrong direction. Okay, that's in the tube. Now I want to pull the tube out, I'll pull the servo lead with it. There you go. Need to get that out of there. Right, okay. Okay, so I've just got to glue those two servos in. Now when I've glued those two servos in, I'll show you the rest. Okay, we're back to the servos. I've glued the servos in and I've fitted the control horns onto it. Made sure that the servos are level with this wing seat, so they're level with that, so the wings can slide in there. Now before I go any further, I need to measure the distance between these two outer points, because that's how thick I want the wing to be at that point. So pair calipers or ruler, whatever you've got that you can do it on. Okay, so there I've got 86mm. Okay, I've simply put it through there. You could use a ruler if that's your way. There we go. I'll put a ruler against there. I can see it's a little bit harder. 8.5. Okay, that's where I want to cut the wing to. Okay, so I'll show you that now. Get rid of that. So this is the wing I made earlier. I made a mess of the trailing edge, so at least you know I've done it. You don't have to do it. It's not going to work out that well. It may clean up later on, I don't know. Anyway, back to this. So 87mm, as you can see, we've got a marker in the middle there, and I want 87mm. Okay, so I need to cut the centre section out of the main wing, and I measured it earlier. What was it? The distance between the two servos was 86, 87. Okay. I've got two guidelines here, and the distance between those two for me is 36. So all I need to do now, 36, 36, use a felt tip pen, mark that, so I've got 36 there, 36 there, this front edge, 36 there, and again there, 36. Now I need to cut it. Okay, now for that, sharp knife and a flexible ruler. Okay, move that out of the way. So I've got a flexible ruler, I'll line it up with my lines, and because it's flexible ruler I can squash it. Now keep your ruler, you keep your knife at 90 degrees as you slice through it, and keep it against this edge here. This knife's a bit... Now if you don't do it quite right, you can always sand it with a sanding block to get it right. But if you cut it right first time, all the better. Off, as you see there. be careful, you can get a nice edge. So that's one off. And we're going to do the other one again. Line your ruler up, your markers, and go again. Now you may have noticed the board that I'm cutting on is a normal board with some cork tiles on. The reason for that is when the knife goes through it, it doesn't blunt the knife and I can go into the cork. So again, you can see there I've got a nice cut. It's going to work for me fine. Now that is going to be a centre section which is going to be glued in, but I need to put a rod in there. Okay. Now I'll show you that. But let me just mark this. Now my rod, I've tried the first one at 85 mils back, but there wasn't quite enough movement for me, so I'm going to mark this one at 75. So 75 puts me there. So I'll mark that there, and again here. Okay. And just check my cut is nice. There you go. Now you can see that on camera, but that's a nice cut all the way through, so I know I'm okay with that side. This side, it's a little bit out. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. There, it's slightly out. But that will be fine because I'll be putting a wash and I'll be having a gap there. That's fine. Okay, so now I'll show you how to do the rod. Okay, so we've got our 3 pieces of wing. I've marked up where I want to do my hole for a centre spar, but I need a spar that's going to act as the tilting mechanism as well. And for this, I use carbon tube. A tube in this. Now this carbon tube is 5mm, they're never that accurate, the measurements of these, but that's 5.4 carbon tube. Okay, onto that I need to put another tube, and I found this acrylic tube. It's a bit like a Bic pen, and it's quite a nice snug fit on there, not to allow too much slop, but it will turn or rotate quite easily. Okay, obviously you don't have to use this. There are other methods and ways of doing the same thing. You could, for instance, try steel wire outer sleeving. Obviously that's more flexible than carbon tube is. That's quite stiff. Or you could use maybe a dowel with another tube over the top of that. Let's see if this one's thick enough. Let's see if we can put it. There we go, that's better. There's maybe a tube that goes over it. All you're interested in really is that the wings can tilt freely. That's all you're really interested in, and that the spar is going to be strong enough to support the weight. It's only a lightweight glider, so you don't need a great deal. But for me, I'm going to be using a carbon spar. So I've decided on using a 5mm carbon spar and an acrylic tube I found that goes on top of that. Okay. In addition to that, you're going to need some bolts and washers. Okay, you're going to need bolt and small washer, bolt and small washer, 2 large washers. But your bolt, you want to try and get so it fits in there. Okay, some of them might be a tight fit, might not. You need to be able to glue it in and get it in. Put small washer on and glue that in the end. Okay, now that washer that's on there is there to stop this coming off. Okay, but it doesn't want to be bigger than that, because you will be pushing that into there and into the wings. So I'm going to show you that. Now I found that I only need 3 inches of this embedded into the wing. Okay, but obviously I've got this, so if I put that up to there, 3 inches for one wing, 3 inches for the other, that's 6 inches in total. Okay, let's get a ruler. Why is there nothing around when I want it? This is what I want, a plastic ruler. Okay, so I'm going to measure 6 inches and there, line it up with there. I know I need to do a cut there, so I'm going to cut this and I'll show you what's what after that.